Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk. So this is our first video and an introduction to the channel. We're going to talk a little bit about who we are individually, and then talk to you about what the purpose for the channel is. So yeah, if you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Right, okay. Hi, my name is Kheliwe Njolinjo. So I was born in Malawi and my family moved over here when I was about 8 or 9, and I've been living here since, and I'm currently 29 years old. And I'm just finishing off my master's in international law with international relations, and yeah, that's my area of interest. I'm interested in law and community development, particularly developing Africa. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Cool. My name is Stella Kajombo. I was also born and raised in Malawi, and I moved to the UK when I was about 11 years old. I'm currently a student, an art student, and yeah, that's sort of what I'm interested in. But
so quite different to me.
Yeah.
But I think what kind of unites us is that we're both interested in developing Malawi, particularly, and seeing Malawi grow, and yeah, just
learning about it and everything.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the purposes of this channel, is just to discuss some issues that young people in Malawi may face, and just bring our own viewpoints in it and discuss it and generate some sort of conversation that you guys can also be involved in, and we can just try and find a better way to approach things, maybe to just help with that development in Malawi. So I think within the channel we're going to have guest speakers and guest presenters, just people who discuss with and hold a conversation with within a specific topic. So those might be people who have maybe degrees in that area, or who have a passion for that area. So I think that would be good to get people on the channel who would bring
more than like what we know to the conversation.
So I don't think we're in any way saying that we know everything. We're just trying to generate conversation. So I think for this introductory episode, it would be quite good to talk about that transition period from being born in Malawi and moving over to the UK, and how you found that adjustment period and how you identify as right now.
So I obviously grew up in Malawi until I was at a good age where I knew what everything was, and I had a strong cultural foundation as to who I was as a Malawian and what my role was as a Malawian girl, I guess. So coming here, it was more about adjusting to British or English culture, and I think at the moment I'm at that in-between stage where I'm a Malawian British living in the UK. What about yourself?
I can definitely relate with that. I think for me, because I came when I was quite young, I hadn't really developed my identity as a Malawian, I guess. Whatever a Malawian is. But so I kind of struggled when I got here to adjust, because I was just trying to figure out who I was in Malawi anyway. Then being moved to a different culture, they speak a different language, and everything is done differently. And I kind of struggled to adjust, and it took me longer, I think, than most people. And I had to have like special help even within school to try and get me to talk.
That as well.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But yeah, but eventually I kind of found my way. But I found that the culture was so different, because in Malawi, I think you assume a lot of responsibility from a young age.
Yeah, definitely.
So like you at 11, you were already cooking sima and whatnot.
Cleaning, and you had responsibilities for each person.
So I think when I got here, that was not the case. Obviously, when you're in the UK and you're like 8, 9, 10, you're still quite young. So I think that was the difference that I noticed, was that there was less pressure for me to assume a lot of responsibility. So it's taken me longer than I think the normal typical Malawian to assume responsibility. So I had a longer time to just chill as a child. So
I think one thing that probably helped shape who I am is my dad. So my dad was born and raised here, my stepdad, and he almost paved the way as to like what an English person does. I don't know if that makes sense. So he would introduce things to us, like the idea of being a teenager like when I got to that age, he was like, "Oh, at 13 you should be doing this. At 16 you can do this." So
I see your dad saying stuff. Because even now he'll be like, "At this age you should be having boyfriends." It's like,
so I
English
think
culture,
I sort of had a timeline, I guess, as to what I should or shouldn't be doing at that age. So that helped.
I think for me, because we were just Malawians in the house, just in a different country.
Everyone was adjusting.
Everybody was adjusting. My parents, my siblings, they were all adjusting. But then we still, like, we had no external influence. Like, obviously you had your stepdad, but we had no external influence, like from a British person to tell us like the way. So we just kind of like got on with it and still remained Malawians but living in the UK. So I think we still retained a lot of the Malawian culture, and I think that's why I'm always
going back to it.
Going back to Malawi, and I'm so passionate about developing Malawi because for most people, if you come here when you're like 7 or 8 or 9, I can't never remember how old I really was, but if you come around that age, I feel like you can easily lose your culture because
definitely
you're young, so it's easy for you to just adopt the new culture and go with that. But because my foundation and the people that were raising me were still practicing and living by that culture, it made it easy for me to still embrace it, even though I was not in Malawi.
So it was still speaking the language.
Everything. Because when I go to Malawi, most people are like, "You speak Chichewa?" And I'm like, "Yes." Why won't I speak Chichewa? And for me, I think it's because my parents, obviously, they were the main people that were around me. My parents, my siblings, and we all just retained our culture. And that's why I am always identifying as Malawian. When people ask me, "Oh, where are you from?" the first thing I say is Malawi. I don't even think about England or...
The thing is, but you've travelled back a lot already, so it's not like you have that
disconnect.
Whereas I haven't travelled back to Malawi since I came. So for me, like some of the things that I found myself doing is like constantly looking up as to like what was going on in Malawi, like researching or talking to people. If people had come to visit us from Malawi, I'd ask them loads of questions. I think that was like my attempt to
stay connected.
The Malawianness.
I get that.
I think that's probably why I'm passionate about it, because it's a huge part of who I am. So I definitely want to go back and sort of share what people have here with Malawians and what they don't have, like be able to provide that or help develop that.
And I think we're quite lucky because we have got the opportunity to grow up in a developed country, but still obviously have that connection with Malawi. So we can take everything we've learned here and take it back home and develop our country. And honestly, that's just the main goal.
That's the goal. That is the goal. And
so like if anybody's interested in helping us develop Malawi particularly, you know,
it's not easy, but get involved and talk to us. We're here, we're open.
We'll be interested to get feedback, and if anybody's already doing some sort of work in Malawi, we'll be interested to hear about that as well, because we're always looking for different ways to be connected to Malawi and different ways to help Malawi. So that would be interesting, I think.
And I think this is probably a good opportunity to talk about Shiros.
So you will hear about Shiros in another episode. But definitely. So I think that's it for today.
So
hopefully you guys have learned a little bit more about us and the purpose of this channel, and stay tuned.
Hope to see you soon. I'm 21 years old. Oh, I didn't say my name.
Stella, no, please, Stella. Stella, I can't go back. No! Stella, I can't go back. What kind of whatever? Jesus Christ, what is this?
It's gonna be an introduction as to who we.
Stella, why?
It's Stella Kajombo. I was also born and raised in Malawi.
Every bloody time. Sorry.
This is not.
So is he gonna be going up and down for long?
On.
He's coming back. He's coming back. I'm sorry, but he's coming.
Excuse me.
Take
We're
your-
trying to film a video.
Take your bike.